The film Nowhere Special tells the story of a father who becomes a single parent for his only child Michael. Michael's mother leaves them shortly after giving birth while his father is diagnosed with cancer, and that's why John wants to find parents who want to adopt his child. How about the next story? No need to talk anymore. Let's just get into the story. Introduce this John. He is the father of a child named Michael. John is only a window cleaner and earns mediocre even though his love for Michael and all the best things he gave to Michael. That's why John was forced to find parents who would adopt Michael, who is 4 years old, so that Michael can feel a decent and better life than he has to live with his father, especially if John is diagnosed with cancer, which makes his life not long. John always accompanies Michael playing and never refuses. He also always provides fruit and combs Michael's hair after bathing, reads story books before bed, irons clothes, picks up school, prepares food, cleans the house, basically all the housework he does. There was a time where Michael was having breakfast and his food was in a mess. He threw it out one by one, but John wasn't angry at all, and he just asked Michael not to waste food. That's all what John did. This is a very kind, gentle and responsible father and full of love. When John took Michael to school, they walked, but they still seemed happy. When they arrived at school, Michael suddenly asked where his mother was. John said that Michael's mother had to go very far, and finally Michael went straight to school without further ado. Even though his face it was very sad. After school, John, Michael, and one woman from social services visited the first adoptive parents. John explained about Michael. He said that Michael likes puppies to take care of. He is also a quiet but obedient and kind child. He is also a very popular child at school. John was always told that Michael was a great boy. Michael is a loving and caring child and a happy child. John just wants Michael to have a normal family with both parents, complete with a loving home anyway, all the opportunities that John never had as a child. He also wants Michael to be able to do everything that John couldn't do it. It turns out that the response of Michael's prospective adoptive parents is also good. He understands all of John's wishes, and it turns out that they have also prepared a room and convinced John that they are able to provide the best education for Michael. Then they asked John what he wanted Michael to know about the situation. John said no, because the less he knows the better. John also told foster parents that Michael doesn't have a biological mother. His biological mother is gone. After the conversation, finally John and Michael went home. John asked Michael, "Do you want to live in another place, in a different city one day, different house?" After that, Michael said he likes the house he is currently occupying. There, John could not say any more, even though his intention was to find new parents for Michael. When he's at home, there are various behaviors. Michael starts to scribble on books belonging to the library, ask for stories to be read, draw together, take walks in the park, eat ice cream. Basically everything John does patiently and lovingly. One day John is working as a window cleaner. See the house, there is a boy's room, which is full of nice toys. In the garden there is also a play area. John is very sad to see that because he can't give it to Michael. The next day John and Michael visited the house of Michael's second adoptive parents. As usual, they talked about Michael and his prospective new family. After talking, they finally went home. One day John was late to pick up Michael at his friend's house. There Michael immediately sulked, and that made him not want to play with his friend there. John apologized and told Michael to be nice when he wanted to go home. When he got home, Michael asked if we would meet new friends again. John said not today. So all this time John brought Michael to meet prospective adoptive parents. John said he was going to visit a new friend's house they didn't know, so it made Michael look happy. Then after returning home from his friend's house, John played garden with Michael. In the park, Michael found a dead beetle, but because Michael was still a child and did not understand, he ordered to expel the beetle there. John gave understanding. He said, when the beetle dies, its body does not function. It stops moving, eating, and playing, because all animals, plants, all living things are born and live a happy life, then grow old, then die, and when they die they leave their body, their tiny little feet, head, stomach all go empty. Michael keeps asking if it's sad, but John says it's not sad. Here indirectly John immediately explained to Michael about death, because he felt he had not long to live. That night when John was eating grapes and Michael was playing alone, there John seemed to be in pain but trying to look fine in front of Michael. After that Michael took a drink for John and put it on the table carefully. After Michael sat next to his father, leaning and immediately holding his father's hand. Maybe Michael already had an inkling, but he just didn't want to say anything. The next day, John and Michael met again with prospective adoptive parents. This is the third time they have visited to find adoptive parents for Michael. Who knows how many more times they have to find suitable parents and families for Michael. After that, they go straight home. When he got home, John immediately threw up because his illness was getting worse, because he felt that his life wasn't long enough. Finally, John decided to shop for his daily needs and buy chocolate for Michael. After that, they made a cake according to what Michael wanted for John. Basically, they really spent the best possible time for their togetherness. The next day, John and Michael visited their fourth prospective adoptive parents. After listening to stories about the lives of their prospective adoptive parents, after that they home. When at home, John fell asleep on the sofa after Michael covered his father with a blanket. John immediately woke up and hugged Michael. The next day, John visited Michael's prospective adoptive parents again. As usual, they chatted. After that, they immediately returned to their home. After returning from there suddenly on the road, Michael asked, "What does adoption mean, Father?" So when the fifth visit, Michael heard about the word adoption. Continues, John says, "Adoption means when the child cannot be cared for by his mother and father, in order to live with his new good parents so that he can provide a home for his new family." Michael says innocently, he doesn't want to be adopted. There, John is silent because maybe he confused, don't know what to say. When he was at home, John immediately bathed Michael, combed his hair. Also, how nimble this one father was. The next day, Michael was having breakfast, but there John was back first. Suddenly, John's spoon wanted to be used with Michael. Then John immediately got angry, like a high-pitched voice saying it. Michael's behavior was starting to get a little weird, already a bit annoying. Then at night, Michael didn't want to wear sleep pants, and instead cried. John left there, Michael, and told him to wear his own pajamas, and then John came out of the room. Not long after that, Michael immediately came over to John with his strange behavior. At first they were angry, suddenly they were together again. They also had a drawing activity together. The next day, John rented out his car for someone else, so the car was like being entrusted to someone to be rented again to someone else. The reason John did it, he said, because he wanted to go far away. That person thought John went abroad for a very long period of time, and John confirmed the person's words. Day by day, John's face is getting paler. For the last time, John takes Michael to the playground to play some rides and buy food there so they can have fun together. At night, before Michael sleeps, John reads a storybook there. John says, "Like a beetle that leaves his body but now flying around the forest. One day your father will leave his body but always around you, in the air like a balloon. You won't see me, but you can talk to me and I will listen. You will not hear me like now, but you will hear me inside you, because I'm always together, in the air around you and under the sun that warms you and the rain that makes you wet." Then Michael's reaction was just nodding his head, because maybe he didn't understand. After Michael slept and John came out of his room.
What is now? Flan around the forest, flan around the forest. One day soon, your daddy will leave his body, but will always be around you, in the air,
Like the balloon in the sky, like the balloon in the sky.
Yes. You won't see me, you can't talk to me, but you can talk. And I'll listen, and you won't hear me, and you won't hear me like you hear me now. But you'll hear me inside you,
Inside.
I will always be with you, in the air around you, and in the sunshine that warms you, and the rain that gets you wet.
And the grapes.
Yes. I'll be there too. Not in the grape, but in the taste of it.
And John is like writing letters and collecting his photos. photos of Michael and his father together, as well as little Michael's moments with his mother when he was a baby. John kept all of that in one box, and other items were also placed in the box. Above the box was written for Michael. The next morning John and Michael visited a house on foot, then they took a bus, because John's car didn't have a car anymore. After that they arrived at their destination, namely the house of the woman who would become Michael's adoptive parents. Michael was entrusted to foster parents to be cared for because John feels that his life will not be long. The film ends. Don't forget to subscribe. Activate the notification bell, like and comment.